Hey, welcome to Home Video Hangouts. I'm Cody. I'm sure you've heard the news. Physical media sales are declining, less and less big box stores are selling physical media, and it sounds like a grim time for physical media. But I'm here to tell you that not all hope is lost. I don't see physical media going anywhere. I think it's here to stay long term. Let me tell you why. So, first of all, you've probably heard that one of the main benefits of physical media of all types is ownership. Once you buy some form of physical media, whether it's a CD, DVD, Blu-ray, video game, you own that piece of physical media forever and no one can take that away from you. This is very different than what we see with streaming platforms. Any streaming service can change what they're offering you at any time, take away things you've purchased or rented, and that's not the case with physical media that you purchased. So with this in mind, that means that as long as you've purchased something, you'll be able to enjoy that as many times as you want, for as long as you want, and you also retain the option to resell your physical media if you like to, and get some of the money back that you spent on it and allow somebody else to enjoy it. This isn't just a benefit to owning and collecting physical media though, this is one of the primary reasons that physical media will likely never fully die. We've seen how much that different formats like CDs and DVDs have been produced. Many CDs and DVDs sold millions of copies to where there are tons of them out there on the used market today, or in some cases even brand new still. And as long as those are out there, there's always going to be a market buying and selling them on the used market. And that's just one of the biggest reasons I could see why physical media is never going to fully die, is because so much physical media is already out there on the market anyway. Even if everywhere decided to stop making and producing and selling physical media new, we'd still have so much of it out there that there's still going to be a hardcore group of collectors collecting it for years and years to come. Also, we're not done seeing new physical media formats being developed. So you may have heard that there's rumors that there could be a 8K format for movies. That's possible. I also posted a video recently, which you can see linked above, where I talked about a new optical disc format that has been developed. And we don't know exactly how that will be implemented or if we'll be able to see that as consumers. But there's a lot of information in that video I posted that talks about what this could mean for the future of physical media. So definitely check that out. But it just gives us a lot of hope that there is still physical media of some type being developed, and a lot of thought is still going into the uses for physical media, even if we've seen declining sales. So that is a positive sign, and if more and more new forms of physical media are developed, that's going to keep physical media going long term. Now, as I alluded to earlier, a big part of keeping physical media alive is the thriving used market. So you may first think of things like eBay, where there's always been used items for sale, or even locally on things like Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, and those are great. But what I've seen recently is, in addition to those, we've seen a lot more local stores opening that sell used physical media. Where I live in California, we have multiple bookstores like Half Price Books that sell all types of physical media, ranging from books, audiobooks, DVDs, Blu-rays, 4K Blu-rays, video games, records, VHS, CDs. They sell all of that. And there's more and more stores popping up new that are selling physical media like that. I've seen multiple new record stores pop up locally that are selling everything from CDs, vinyl records, video games, DVDs, Blu-rays. And then in addition to that, I've even seen a few local movie rental stores operating still. And so if all of those types of stores are still popping up new, that again shows how much physical media is out there on the used market, to where people are able to start whole businesses around physical media. And I have another video I posted where I talk about how I've created a physical media business in the past from home. And I think as time goes on, where we're still seeing new releases of some kind of physical media, we're going to just see the used market grow more and more businesses popping up selling these things. So a great example of this is what we've seen recently with video games and video game stores. Before, I would say the last 5 years or so, video games were out there on the used market but weren't heavily collected the way they are now. in the last 5 or maybe even 10 years, it seems like there's been more vintage and retro video game stores opening, and more places where you can buy and sell used video games, and more people collecting used video games and consoles to where their prices are going up. There's more of a collector's market for them. And I think if we can see that happening with video games specifically, we're going to see more and more of that with CDs and movies as well. Records and video games now have established that they can make a comeback in the used market if given enough time. And of course, another big thing that gets people to start collecting physical media in the first place is because of the cost. So a lot of people have gone to streaming services, but those keep increasing in cost over and over and over again. All the streaming services have been increasing their cost per month over the past few years. And while they still do come out with some great original content, if you compare the cost of paying for multiple streaming services every month, it can get way more expensive than just collecting movies and TV shows you like on a physical media format. And it goes for the same with music, for example, or video games. A lot of times long term, it makes more sense to buy physical copies of those. I do use streaming services myself, and they can be convenient. They do have benefits as well. But over time, we're seeing them get more and more expensive to where physical media makes more and more sense because of that. Another point I wanted to bring up is it's not just consumers that are talking about physical media. We've seen various actors and directors talk about the importance of physical media in the movie industry, and I think that says a lot. I've heard from people like James Cameron and Christopher Nolan how they see the importance of physical media and owning media on the highest format possible, and that's why they're putting so much effort into recording the latest films on very high resolution cameras and putting them out on the highest physical media format possible. We've seen a lot of success with this with the recent release of the movie Oppenheimer, and that movie really proved that there's still a thriving market for high quality physical media releases in high quality movies. So if this trend continues where we see both a core group of consumers interested in high quality physical media, as well as directors and actors and producers seeing the importance, we're not going to see physical media fully die, especially not in the movie industry. We may see ebbs and flows in the sales and the methods used for producing the content and selling the content, but there's always going to be a thriving market for it, and it's not dying anytime soon. Another point I wanted to make that's specific to the movie industry is we're seeing an uprising of what are called boutique Blu-ray labels. Now, these are companies that are starting up that are taking original camera negatives of older films and reproducing them on high quality formats like 4K Blu-ray to where they look much better than any original release ever did. And this type of company really caters to physical media collectors and movie collectors and people who are fans of some of these older films. And since we're seeing these types of businesses pop up more recently, that goes to show that we're seeing that while maybe some of these big studios aren't reproducing some of these older movies on higher quality 4K formats, there's still these smaller boutique labels that are. And if these small boutique labels continue to grow, we're going to see more and more releases from them to where even if it doesn't make financial sense or something for a big label, these smaller labels can pick up that slack, and that's going to keep physical media alive as well. We don't always need releases from huge studios to keep physical media alive because there are these smaller companies, just like how we see smaller companies on the used market keeping it alive as well. So one of the last reasons I want to talk about is people's search for the highest quality. So physical media oftentimes offers a better audio and or video quality than streaming formats. And while some people don't care too much about that and are happy with the convenience that streaming will offer, there are many people out there, especially on the collector's market, that care about having the highest audio and video quality possible. I'm someone who cares about that myself, and that's why I have a dedicated 4K Blu-ray player and I collect 4K Blu-rays, for example. There's something special about being able to put in a disc of your favorite movie and see it on the highest quality format possible that is comparable to what you would have seen in the theater and much higher than you would see on a streaming service. Streaming services these days, while I say they have 4K streaming, don't have the same bit rates as something like a 4K Blu-ray, to where you won't see the same visual fidelity or audio fidelity that you would see if you're playing it off of a 4K Blu-ray disc. And some of the same things can be said about audio. The streaming services for music have gotten better with higher quality, but some people still appreciate physical formats of music more. Sometimes CDs can have higher quality audio than streaming services, and in some cases people prefer the sound of records over digital formats just because of their preference and the differences in sound. So there's always going to be people that prefer physical media over streaming, no matter what happens and what the costs and everything else involved are. That's going to keep physical media alive for a long time as well. So in conclusion, of course, it can always be frustrating to see that another store is quitting selling physical media, or we're seeing another movie is released without being put out on physical media, just on streaming. Or there's a lot of other things I could say that we're seeing in the news that look like negative signs for physical media. But there's always going to be a market for all types of physical media. There's always going to be other people who are passionate about it, and we can help keep physical media alive. If we keep going out and purchasing our physical media, either new or used, there will continue to be a thriving market that we can all take part in. And I hope that we can all work together to keep physical media alive long term. So if you enjoyed my perspective on this in this video, hit the like button and subscribe button down below to stay updated on my latest videos where I talk about physical media, and let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the long-term outlook for physical media. Thanks for watching.